It is 3 a.m., and most people call this racing mind anxiety. But psychology suggests something entirely different. You are staring at the ceiling in a completely dark, completely still room, watching your brain run a trial you never signed up for. Your mind is not broken, and it is not malfunctioning. It's running a highly specific ancient threat detection protocol that only activates when the world goes quiet. By the end of this video, you will know the exact triggers hijacking your sleep and the one fundamental shift that separates people who fight their thoughts from people who finally turn the volume down. Welcome back to InnerScript. Let's get into it. Here's the first sign. Your brain is not just thinking, it is actively prosecuting you. You lie in the dark, and suddenly you're replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. You are analyzing every micro-expression, every awkward pause, every poorly chosen word. You feel a physical tightness in your chest, a heavy sinking feeling in your stomach, and a heat rising in your cheeks. This is not random mental noise. This is your default mode network taking the wheel. When external stimuli drop to 0 at night, your brain's default setting kicks in. For most people, this network just wanders aimlessly. But for you, it acts like a browser with 100 frozen tabs, all running a background scan for social threats. It is looking for the moment you failed, the moment you looked foolish, because your brain equates social missteps with survival threats. It is not trying to torture you. It is trying to update your behavioral software so you do not make the same mistake tomorrow. But at 3 a.m., that software update just freezes the screen, leaving you trapped in the loop. Sign number 2. You feel a physical sense of dread, but there is absolutely no danger in the room. Your heart rate is slightly elevated. Your breathing is shallow. Your muscles are tense. Your jaw is clenched, and your senses are dialed up to maximum. You are scanning the dark for a threat that does not exist. This happens because your circadian rhythm and your threat detection system are fundamentally misaligned. In our evolutionary past, the dark was when predators hunted. Your brain is wired to shift into a high alert state when visual input drops. For most people, this is a mild background hum. For you, it is a full-blown alarm. Your nervous system is acting like a security system with the sensitivity dial turned all the way up. A falling leaf registers as a break-in. You are not imagining the danger. Your body is genuinely preparing you to fight or flee. The problem is, the threat it is preparing you for is a thought, not a tiger. Body is flooded with cortisol to run a marathon, but you are just lying still in bed, which makes the physical energy trap inside you and turn into mental static. Sign 3. This did not start when you became an adult. It started when you were a child in the dark. Think back to your childhood bedroom. When the lights went out, was the environment truly safe and predictable? Or was there an underlying tension? Maybe a parent who was emotionally volatile. Maybe a household where the mood could shift without warning, and you never knew what version of your parents you would get the next morning. You became the radar for the room. You learned to read the tone of a footstep, the pitch of a sigh, the specific way a door was closed. Attachment research shows us that when a child's environment is unpredictable, their nervous system adapts by staying on high alert, especially at night when they are most vulnerable. You learned that if you could just anticipate the mood, you could avoid the conflict. That hypervigilance was a brilliant survival strategy. It kept you safe, but it also acted like a volume knob that got turned up decades ago and then glued in place. Your brain learned that the dark is not for resting. The dark is for watching. And even though you are an adult now, in a safe room, that childhood adaptation is still standing guard, refusing to clock out. And that brings us to the middle of the loop. Because once your brain decides it needs to keep you awake to protect you, it needs a reason to justify the alarm. It needs a specific problem to solve, which leads directly into the next trigger. Sign number 4. Your brain suddenly remembers an unfinished task or an unresolved conflict. It could be an email you did not send, a project that is due next week, or a vague disagreement with a friend. In the daylight, you can handle this. At 3 a.m., it becomes an absolute emergency. This is driven by a cognitive principle called the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain hates open loops. It holds onto uncompleted tasks much more strongly than completed ones. During the day, you have enough cognitive load to push these loops into the background. But at night, when your cognitive load drops, those open loops float to the surface. Your brain treats an unresolved email with the same urgency as an unresolved physical threat. It is like a browser with 100 frozen tabs, and the tab playing the loud, annoying audio is the one you cannot find. Your mind is trying to force closure in a moment when you have zero capacity to actually execute the task. So it just spins the wheel, keeping you awake until you promise to fix it. Sign number 5. You are not just thinking about the problem. You are physically refeeling the emotion attached to it. You feel the exact same spike of embarrassment or the exact same heavy drop of sadness as if the event is happening right now in the bed with you. This is because your brain does not strictly differentiate between a vividly imagined event and a real one. When you replay a stressful memory at night, your amygdala fires off the exact same neurochemical signals it did during the original event. Your body is reacting to a ghost. You are essentially tricking your nervous system into experiencing the trauma of a past event over and over again in real time. It's like a circuit breaker that keeps flipping because you keep turning the power back on. You are not just remembering the past. You are physiologically living it. And your body is exhausting itself, trying to process an emotion that has already happened and is already gone. Sign number 6. You believe that if you just think about it hard enough, you will figure it out and finally be able to sleep. You treat the 3 a.m. thought spiral as a highly productive problem-solving session. You think that if you can just find the perfect answer, the perfect strategy, the perfect words to say tomorrow, your brain will let you rest. This is the illusion of control. Your brain is using worry as a substitute for action. It feels like work. It feels like you are doing something productive to protect your future, but psychologically, this is just steering a parked car. You are gripping the wheel, turning it left and right, burning energy, but the car is not moving. Intolerance of uncertainty drives this loop. Your brain would rather exhaust itself trying to predict an unpredictable future than simply accept that it cannot know what will happen. You are not solving the problem. You are just paying interest on a debt you do not even owe. Yet you've probably realized by now that none of these signs are character flaws. They are mechanical responses. They are your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. But understanding the mechanism is only half the battle. Because there is a final stage to this loop, and it is the one that actually breaks people. Sign number 7. The emotional peak. The sheer crushing exhaustion of fighting your own mind. This is where the 3 a.m. spiral stops being about the specific thoughts and becomes about the feeling of being trapped. You are no longer just worried about tomorrow. You are now worried about the fact that you are not sleeping. You are angry at yourself for being awake. You feel a deep, heavy resentment toward your own brain. You feel a profound sense of isolation because no one else in the house is awake to see how hard you are fighting this invisible battle. This is cognitive fatigue. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain that usually regulates your emotions, is simply out of fuel. It has been working all day, and now it is offline. Without that regulator, the emotional centers of your brain take over completely. You are like a duck underwater, paddling frantically just to stay in place. But on the surface, you just look like you are sinking. The tragedy of this stage is that the harder you fight the thoughts, the louder they get. You are trapped in a glass wall of your own making, pounding on the glass, wondering why you cannot just break through and rest. Here is the line. The line is not between having a busy mind and having a quiet mind. Some of the most successful, deeply empathetic people on earth have minds that never stop running. The line is between thinking to solve and thinking to soothe. When you are lying in the dark, your brain defaults to solving because solving feels like control and control feels like safety. But at 3 a.m., you have no control. The only variable you can change is your relationship to the thought itself. When you use your 3 a.m. thoughts to try and control the future, you are trying to solve. When you accept the thoughts without engaging them, you are soothing. Here is the 3-step protocol to cross that line. Step 1, externalize it. The moment you catch the loop, get out of bed and write the thoughts down on physical paper. Do not just think about writing it down. Physically, get up. The act of moving your body breaks the physical loop of the thought spiral. Write it down in plain language. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. You are moving the open loops out of your working memory and into the physical world. Step 2, delay it. Tell your brain, I hear you, and we will look at this at 10 a.m. tomorrow. This is crucial. You are giving your brain a promise that the problem will not be ignored. You are satisfying the Zeigarnik effect by creating a scheduled closure. Your brain can finally let go of the tab because it knows the browser will be opened again at 10 a.m. Step 3, ground it. Use a physiological sigh. 2 quick inhales through the nose, followed by a long, slow exhale through the mouth. Do this 3 times. The physiological sigh is the fastest known way to reduce autonomic arousal in real time. It signals to your brainstem that the threat has passed. You are manually shifting your nervous system out of the frozen browser state and back into the calm, connected state. It is easy to feel broken when your mind will not shut off. It is easy to look at the people sleeping peacefully next to you and wonder, what is wrong with your wiring? But there is nothing wrong with your wiring. Your wiring is just highly optimized for a world that no longer exists. You just need to teach it how to operate in the world that does. Your midnight mind began as a brilliant adaptation, a child in the dark, learning to stay alert to navigate an unpredictable world. It kept you safe. It got you here. It deserves some respect. But you are not in that dark room anymore. You do not have to fight your mind to get it to quiet down. You just have to stop treating every thought like a threat that needs to be neutralized. Before you go, which of these 7 signs hits you the hardest? Put the number in the comments. Nothing else. Just the number. You are going to scroll down and discover just how many people are staring at the ceiling in exactly the same way you do. If this video helped you understand your midnight mind, you need to go back and watch our breakdown on the exact science of noticing too much. It's the foundation for everything we discussed today. I've linked it right here on the screen.